Right, so now we can go to number E. Let's see what E is. Is goods to the value of 800 returned by a debtor Charlton was incorrectly recorded in the DAJ as S Charlton and posted as such. So let's go and look at how to fix it. Right. Okay. Let's go down. Good. So first of all, what was the incorrect? The incorrect was incorrectly posted to, let's see, goods to the value returned by A Charlton was posted as S Charlton. So incorrect, S Charlton. S Charlton. What did we do with S Charlton? It was a DAJ. In other words, it's a debtor returning goods. So he's a debtor, which means he's an asset. He returned goods, so we made his account less. What side did we make it less? On the credit side. But it shouldn't be for him, so how will we get it out? We must do the opposite, so we must debit his account. Good. Who should it be? So the correct one should be A Charlton. So the correct person is A Charlton. A Charlton. He's also a debtor, so also an asset, and we must make his account less because he actually returned the goods. If he returns goods, he will owe us less. So we need to credit his account, make it less. So first of all, put in the incorrect. What did we do with it? Work it out according to the journal. It's a DAJ. DAJ means debtors control asset. We make it less because the debtor returned goods. He will owe us less. What side do we make it less? Credit. If it is in the wrong account, how will we get it out there? Do the opposite, debit. Then work out where it should be. It's still a debtor, still an asset, and he should be less. So how will we make it less? Credit. So our fix is to debit the incorrect one and credit the correct one. So we're going to debit S Charlton and credit A Charlton. Let's do it. Debit S Charlton, and with the amount, what was the amount that was returned? 200 Rand. 200 Rand. And we're going to credit A Charlton. Charlton. Sorry for that. Charlton with 200 Rand. Good. They both debtors. So they must both go under the debtors ledger. So I must debit the debtors ledger and credit the debtors ledger with 2 Rand. Exactly what I did under the general ledger accounts, copied to the debtors ledger. That brings us to F. F, a debit note issued for merchandise returned to Sun. Returned to, meaning we returned it to a creditor. 420 was recorded in the CJ. If we return goods, it shouldn't be the CJ, it should be the CAJ. So let's work out how to fix it. So again, we're going to put through in what was done, the incorrect. Incorrectly, we returned goods to, let's just get there. Sun Traders, if we return goods, it means it's a creditor, which is a liability. But what did we actually do? We put it on a CJ. In a CJ, it means it's like goods purchased. In other words, we increase the creditor. So we increased the liability, and to increase the liability means we credited the account. But it should not be a credit, it should be a debit. We should have made it less. Now, the important thing, if we put through something on the wrong side, in other words, we put it through as a credit, to fix it on the debit, we must debit it, obviously, but we cannot just debit it, then we just take out the incorrect amount. In other words, if we owe somebody 500, we return 100, then we owe them 400 afterwards. But instead of deducting 100, we add it. So we started with 500 and now we owe them 600. So if we simply reverse that 100, it means that we will again still owe them 500, which we started off with. So to fix it, we need to do it twice on the correct side. So we need to debit his account with 2 times the amount. And what was the opposite account? What is it that we bought? Merchandise. So it is trading stock that was returned, and now we need to credit it twice. So that will be how we fix it. We need to debit Sun Traders, the creditor, and the opposite entry would go to trading stock, for the credit of 2 times whatever the debit was. So we're going to debit Sun Traders, with 2 times the amount, not just the 120, 2 times 120, that gives me 240. And we're going to credit, but in trading stock also with 240. But Sun Traders is a creditor, so we must do the same under creditors, debit the creditors control with 240. But then we've done all the entries, or all the additional entries. When we add the general journal, we don't add the general ledger columns. These 2 columns we don't add. We simply add whatever is in the debtors ledger, the debits and the credits, and on the creditors ledgers, the debits and the credits. So it's 270. To remember, if they printed something, to also include that when you add. So it's the 275 plus 200 gives me 475. 120 plus 200 gives me 320, and 207 plus 120, let's just work it out, 207 plus 120 plus 900 plus 240. That should give me 1467, and the credit column for the creditors, it's 320 plus 9 plus 500 plus 120, and that should give me 949. And then I have done the general journal. So once I've done the general journal, I can post these items to the accounts that I need to do. And these accounts were the debtors control and anything for trading stock. So first of all, debtors control. There I've got the debtors control on the debtors ledger. I'm not worried about individuals because I've got totals here. And this tells me I need to put through a debit to debtors. So on the debit side of debtors control, I'm going to put through the debit, the total of the column. But this is made up of different entries. So the opposite account can be anything. I'm not going to list everything. I'm simply going to put in there sundry accounts because it's a total of various different accounts. And that is the general journal and the total of the column, which was 475. Oops, general journal, one in the 475. On the credit side, same thing, it's various different transactions or opposite accounts, sundry accounts coming from the general journal, and the amount in the credit column of our debtors. There's debtors, 320 Rand. Let's just get there. 320 Rand. So we've posted the general journal. If we go back to the question,